Now, this morning / this afternoon's main task is to get this and this into here. So let's get to work. Oh yeah. Whoo! That is a serious workout. Oh my days. One bag down, one bag to go. I think it's time for some coffee. Let me see how this thought lands with people. See how it affects your consciousness when you become aware of what I'm about to say. So, in the past, in our human past, our evolutionary past, it was fairly reliable that human labour was required to sustain human life. What I mean by that is actual physical exertion on behalf of humans was required to sustain said humans. So whether it be hunter-gatherers going on the hunt, expending energy as a result, hunting, catching whatever prey they catch, bringing it back to the tribe, consuming the food that they just hunted. There's this clear link between physical exertion and physiological reward. Maybe this is why there is a release of feel-good chemicals post-strenuous physical exertion. Maybe with the wisdom of the evolved human body, our bodies now realise, oh, when these humans physically exert themselves to a certain degree, it has been fairly reliable in evolutionary past that there was a subsequent nutrition reward post said strenuous exertion. And so then the body sort of has developed mechanisms to reward strenuous physical exertion. Hunter-gatherers, it was the case for them. It was also the case for agriculturalists pre-industrialization, pre the coal-powered steam engine, yeah? When it was mostly endosomatic energy that had to be expended to guarantee a food supply, as opposed to exosomatic energy, which is energy outside of the body. Coal being burned to create steam to run an engine. That's exosomatic. But endosomatic is within the body, energy expended to gain energy back. So it was also the case for the agriculturalists, pre-industrial agriculturalists, whose bodies had to do hard physical labour to ensure a steady supply of nutrition. So here's the kicker. In modern times, we live quite sedentary lifestyles. There's no demand for us to physically exert ourselves in the same way that there has been, ancestrally speaking, or had been, ancestrally speaking, for our hunter-gatherer ancestors and our pre-industrial agriculturalist ancestors. So we opt not to strenuously exert our bodies. And I wager that some proportion of the generalized anxiety that people feel, this existential angst, would dissipate as soon as we revitalized that link between strenuous physical exertion and reward, nutrition reward, physiological reward. When that link is made clearer and people understand that, oh, the body has actually evolved to feel good after this physical exertion for good reasons, then I think the worries in life tend to diminish. in addition to the benefit of reconnecting physical exertion with real deal reward in terms of physiological reward, in addition to recoupling those two, this small scale farming agriculture life is beneficial for the individual in another way, in that jobs get to be done to completion by an individual. This is what I was trying to speak to in a previous video, where I said in these sorts of places, the small scale farm, permaculture, regen ag sorts of places, the individual has the ability to regain agency and to act in such a way that has real world implications, that is sort of foreign to modern people because of how compartmentalized work has become. So if you say you work in city life and in an office job, work is so heavily compartmentalized that you only get to complete a small aspect of a given project, and so you fail to get that sense of, oh, I feel fulfilled now that I've completed this full job or full project. Yeah, so that's an additional benefit to these sorts of small scale operations. Alright, so now that everybody's out, I'm going to do the second bag now. See how it looks. Whew! Another quick thought related to that last one about work, physical exertion being correlated with reward. This is the following thought. The evolved wisdom of the body in its evolution and its long time of evolution understood that it needs to allocate resources to physical exertion. So with city life and the sedentary lifestyle that comes with city life, again, this comes back to that sort of existential angst, dread, generalized anxiety. I do think that the body allocates a certain amount of resources, let's say energy, to physical exertion, and if you fail to use it for that purpose, then these negative effects occur, the likes of the generalized anxiety, existential dread and angst, this sort of a thing, because the body's like, oh my god, for so long we have allocated this energy to these various different tasks. Now those various different tasks are no longer being done. Uh-oh, what's wrong? Sort of a thing, I feel like is the way the body responds. So, connected to that last thought, and yeah, let's keep working. Yeah, real quick. So when you do actually use these resources, this energy allotted to strenuous physical exertion, when you use it and put it to work, then, and people speak to this, then life's worries become a bit easier to handle for some reason. And I think it's because the energy allotted to the energy demanding tasks, physically demanding tasks, has been used up. So there's no more excess energy to wreak havoc in here or in here. I'm going to spin the camera a bit. I think that'll do it. Wow, job done. Look at that. Looking good. By the sweat of my own brow. Oh, so there it is. I think the main message of this little video is the following. We humans, especially young humans, we humans are in a great time of change, and one of the major trends that I see as opportunity, although some people would see it as positive, this is the trend of rural to urban migration. Some people see that as like evidence of progress. I definitely don't. I see it as economic incentive forcing people's hands. You know, people who would prefer to stay out in the countryside where nature is a bit more prominent and real, as opposed to green spaces in cities, which, you know, have their merit, but come on, let's get real. Some people see that urban migration, the rural to urban migration, as progress, but really it's just people's hands are being forced. They have to move out to places like that if they want to make a decent wage. The main message of this video is the following: that rural migration, the rural exodus that is observed across many areas of the world, especially Europe, North America I think is the same. Probably, this is a prediction, probably you'd see it in developed countries, rich developed countries. Anyway, that's a tangent, a sidetrack. This is an opportunity for people who have yet to be burdened by some of the more heavy responsibilities of life, such as children. The longer time you spend in places like this, learning the skills necessary to not only subsist and survive, but thrive. Thrive not only economically speaking, that can be done. Richard Perkins speaks to this. He's a permaculturalist or regenerative agriculturalist. He speaks to it being possible to make a city wage in the countryside, in remote places. Not only is that possible, but also just human health and well-being is superior out in nature, in more remote places, away from the likes of what? City pollution, the food deserts that you find in cities, this sort of a thing. So your head up here can stay sharp and attentive and healthy. So I would encourage you to think deeply about reshaping your life and your lifestyle in such a way that making your way to these remote places and learning the skills necessary to subsist and thrive by the sweat of your own brow becomes your reality. Let's go.